Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated. The new national party, NNP St. Andrews Southwest Youth Arm, presents its annual themed cocktail and gala. It's 90s style. That's right, we're going back in time. Saturday, November 30th, 2019. Going down at the Twilight Nightclub, Grenville. Cocktail starts from 7 p.m. until you say when.
Watch it. You can pick up.
Tickets cost only $15. Finger foods included. With music by Grenada's top DJs alongside live performances. Lots of dope prizes for the best dressed male, best dressed female, best dressed couple, and many more. The NNP St. Andrews Southwest Youth Arm 90s style cocktail and gala. Saturday, November 30th.
Government and GUT reach agreement on salary increases for teachers. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Wednesday, November 13th, I am Rakisha St. Louis. The Government of Grenada and the Grenada Union of Teachers, GUT, have reached agreement on salary increases for the nation's teachers. The collective labor agreement, which covers the period 2020 to 2022, was signed on Wednesday, November 13th by representatives of a government's negotiating team and the GUT. It provides for salary increases of 4% for 2020, 4% for 2021, and 4% for 2022 for teachers, which, when compounded, amounts to approximately 12.5%. The agreement was reached after intense but cordial discussions. Both parties have expressed satisfaction that the negotiations were conducted amicably. Head of the government negotiating team, Honorable Oliver Joseph, said, and I quote, "The agreement reached with the GUT illustrates government's willingness to negotiate in good faith," unquote.
From January 2020, 4%, 2021, 4%, 2022, 4%. This agreement was arrived at after 4 rounds of negotiation, which went very cordial, very frank discussion, and at an enormous cost to the state for its employees, which will require sacrifice, continued sacrifice for, in other sectors in order to meet this obligation, but in the interest of all workers. And I want to thank the GUT for their commitment and their approach, the goodwill demonstrated. I think it's because of this goodwill in the negotiation, there were movement on both sides. And that's how you get a settlement in a negotiation.
The GUT's negotiating team also welcomed the settlement, saying it was fair and reasonable in the current economic circumstances.
We believe that in everything, members would feel that we could have gotten a little more. However, given the way the discussions went and the economic indicators presented, we thought that in the best interest of our members, we can have that settlement. We are comfortable with what we have arrived at, bearing in mind that there are other areas that we are intending to work towards. We also believe that we need to pay attention to the upcoming budget to see what measures are within the budget that we can monitor as a union and bring some understanding and probably explanation to our members as to how it would affect them.
That was GUT President General Lydon Lewis. The government negotiating team revealed that the cost of salary increases amounts to $43.5 million over the 3-year period. In addition to the financial implications of the settlement with the GUT, the negotiating team noted that government will see a significant increase in personnel-related costs with effect from January 2020, as the state is expected to pay an additional 1% to the NIS on behalf of each worker. This effectively amounts to a 5% increase for 2020. Further to this, all retired members of the GUT will have their pension increased by 4% from January 1st, 2020. This agreement with the GUT comes at an enormous cost to the taxpayers of the country. In fact, to reach agreement while also satisfying the primary expenditure rule, which has been yielding tremendous results for the country, government had to make significant cuts to various service sectors to fund the salary increases. Both parties, Minister Joseph says, worked hard to arrive at a percentage figure that is workable, taking into consideration the fiscal space that puts a cap on government's spending power.
From the government point of view, we are very pleased. We are satisfied with the outcome that we have arrived at, to the point where we can sign off today and have predictable salary increases for the next 3 years. There are other areas that we will continue to engage the GUT in as we move forward after today. But I just want to see that we are pleased with the outcome of these negotiations.
In looking ahead at the next negotiating cycle, the negotiating team emphasized that urgent attention must be paid to increasing productivity in the public service in the face of rising citizens' demands. Continuing with the news, government remains committed to its road repair program and continues to explore its options in asphalt usage. On Wednesday, WADA Material Specialists Limited, a Trinidad-based cold mix premium asphalt company, provided Grenada with a sample of its pothole patching product. The cold mix, made of blue limestone aggregates, can be stored for up to 18 months and can be applied to wet or dry areas. Works and Infrastructure Development Minister Honorable Gregory Bowen was present for the on-site demonstration of the cold mix application in True Blue St. George. The minister is confident that once over time the asphalt proves to be durable, Grenada can partner with the company to improve its road infrastructure. He compared the durability of the asphalt currently being used in Grenada to what is being offered.
In Grenada, we use our hard stone granites, but they use a much softer material in there. Their product has its advantages in the sense that it stays together more than the hard aggregates coated with the asphalt. As soon as water gets it, it deteriorates by separating the asphalt from the aggregate. But in this particular case, they're using a much softer material, and we're trying it to see if it will work better for us. You could lay it quicker. Sometimes you don't have to do a lot of regulation of the holes and cutting the edges, and so it blends beautifully into the existing asphalt. And we have 2 demonstration patches, one here and one in another area. And then we could make the decision by cost, how long it will last, it get beaten. So maybe in the next 2 years, we could be looking at this and see whether it can work. But we definitely will be continuing with our cold mix for the time being. And if this is economically better, then we could work with a blend of both, and perhaps over the years just continue to take from one source.
Director of WADA Dave Pear highlighted some of the benefits in store for Grenada once an agreement is reached.
The shelf life of the product is 18 months, so that it means therefore that there is a significant amount of storageability for it. What can happen in such a case is that in the far-flung areas of Grenada, you can take some of this product, carry it to the area, store it, and use it as needed for the scheduled work programs where road repair is concerned. Immediately, in other words, what we're seeing that is being done here, once this is laid and compacted, the road can be opened, and that is a significant difference where this cold mix is concerned. Once it is compacted, it could be opened immediately to vehicular traffic.
This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Did you join the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985, and have since retired? This might be important to you. Government understands that the NIS pension may be insufficient to take care of your needs. So, while it awaits the court's ruling on the matter of pension for public officers, government has taken action to protect your quality of life so that you can take care of your needs in the meantime. Persons who joined the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985, and serve continuously in an established position for a minimum 26 years and 8 months, and retired at age 60, may be eligible to receive an advance payment, which when combined with NIS, represents 70% of their last salary. For more information, call or visit the Pension Secretariat in the Department of Public Administration, Ministerial Complex, 440-3767.
Welcome back. Grenada's Rehabilitation of Offenders Board has approved 90 applications from June 2018 to present for persons wishing to have their criminal records cleared. 115 applications have been received. The Rehabilitation of Offenders Bill 2017 seeks to redress certain impediments which are experienced by offenders, especially those who committed criminal offenses as juveniles. These offenders later discover that their criminal records significantly impede their ability to secure certain employment opportunities, to obtain certain visas in order to travel abroad, either to reside or access educational opportunities. Section 1 of the Act identifies that persons who are convicted for the serious crimes like murder, manslaughter, are not eligible. Norman Gilbert, member of the board, says of the 115 applicants, 9 are female and 106 are males.
We have also in cases where persons may have had offenses where they were charged, and we have not received the sufficient evidence to support that the charges or the fines have been paid. And so we also would have to reject those applications because we expect that those persons will obviously have to meet that requirement before making the submission. So we have approved some 90 applicants within the period of those 115 that I would have mentioned. And out of those applicants that has been approved, we have a very great disparity in male-female ratio, I must say. In fact, of all the applicants received by the board, we have just 9 applicants that are female applicants in terms of making use of the facility, and 106 males.
He spoke of the criteria that must be met in order to obtain approval for expungement.
We also would give consideration to the application based on the requirements of the regulations. And based on the requirements of the regulations, not all applications are going to be approved. Of course, they must meet certain criteria. And so out of that total I mentioned of 115 applicants, we have had denied 16 applicants. And of course, the applicants who have been denied, there are reasons for denying the applications, and of course, those reasons must be in accordance with what the regulation says should be done.
That story just ended the National Report for today, Wednesday, November 13th. Let's recap the top story. Government and GUT reach agreement on salary increases for teachers. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
Now this is the big one as Culture Train String Band Group presents The Param Train 2.0 from Friday, November 1st to Saturday, December 21st. And we kick things off on the Sister Isle. Friday, November 1st, the Brunswick Cemetery. November 9th, Bristol Shop in Leicester. November 15th, Modest Shop in Mount Royal. November 16th, Waynes Bar, Hillsborough. November 22nd, Brongo Shop, Harvey Vale. November 23rd, Goosey Shop, Winwood. November 27th, Sky Shop in Brunswick. November 29th, we head to Union Island to Hugh Malzat Square, Clifton. November 30th, we inside P.T. Martinic at Jigs Cross. December 4th, Pro Shop, Belvedere. On December 6th, we head to the mainland Grenada at Travelers Bar, Grandmore. And on December 8th, Gold's Bar under the Bamboo, Pedmota. December 11th, Marvin Shop in 6 Roads. And on Saturday, December 21st, it's the grand finale round the island. And all events start from 7 p.m. Parang Train 2.0 brought to you by Grenada Tourism Authority, Government of Grenada, Grenada Distillers Limited, Digicel, WeiVybz FM, Sister Isle Radio, Amazing Colors, Ariza Credit Union, and Booms Construction.
The Parang Train, and they'll be coming in by you.
The new National Party, NNP St. Andrews Southwest Youth Arm, presents its annual themed cocktail and gala. It's 90s style. That's right, we're going back in time. Saturday, November 30th, 2019. Going down at the Twilight Nightclub, Grenfell. Cocktail starts from 7 p.m. until you say when.
Watch it. When you feel big up.
Tickets cost only $15. Finger foods included. With music by Grenada's top DJs. Alongside live performances. Lots of dope prizes for the best dressed male, best dressed female, best dressed couple, and many more. The NNP St. Andrews Southwest Youth Arm 90s style cocktail and gala. Saturday, November 30th.
The strength of the iron, it's in the testing. It's not a loss, it's just a lesson. Be grateful for your blessings. You've been digging deep to find that inner strength. No, it's not the time to give up. No, nah. I'm telling you, nothing they do will never defeat where we control your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up in the ceiling for me. Ready, must make it ever steady. Setting goals is necessary while they idling. Precious time they wasting like a disease. It starts spreading. Know it shift their eyesight. I say, I don't know why. Some will worry about the next man's stride. Try to match up a next man's life. Fix your life. And as soon as I start walking hard, you want to make something must be wrong, your man. I don't come here for that. All you help me. But I'm telling you. Nothing they do will never defeat where we control with your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up in the ceiling for me, please. I'm telling you, rule number one, we don't come to beg nothing from them. I'm telling you, the people, music, look, everybody chanting. I'm telling you, counting people, business while we counting the blessings. I'm telling you, counteraction time, so help me broadcast the message. No bad vibes on my side. Keep sending out good signals. Pay attention to your audience. Let your light shine. What's for you will be for you. With the real ones rooting for you. Just let your energy introduce. You can say I don't know why. So we'll worry about that next man's stride. Try to match up our next man's life. Fix your life. And as soon as I start walking hard, you want to make something must be wrong, your man. I don't come here for that. All you help me. But I don't see as I'm telling you. Everybody chanting. I tell you, no, people business while we continue. before we head out. Before we leave here, we have to yell out. I'm telling you, nothing they do will never defeat me. We control we your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up in the ceiling for me, please.
The new national party, NNP St. Andrews Southwest Youth Arm, presents its annual themed cocktail and gala. It's 90s style. That's right, we're going back in time. Saturday, November 30th, 2019. Going down at the Twilight Nightclub, Grenville. Cocktail starts from 7 p.m. until you say when. Tickets cost only $15. Finger foods included. With music by Grenada's top DJs, alongside live performances. Lots of dope prizes for the best dressed male, best dressed female, best dressed couple, and many more. The NNP St. Andrews Southwest Youth Arm 90s style cocktail and gala. Saturday, November 30th. Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
The strength of the iron, it's in the testing. It's not a loss, it's just a lesson. Be grateful for your blessings. You'll be digging deep to find that inner strength. No, it's not the time to give up. No, nah. I'm telling you, nothing they do will never defeat me. We control your destiny. I'm telling you, take your hand and point it up in the ceiling for me. So irate, wake up and I ready. Must make it ever steady. Setting goals is necessary while they idling. Precious time they wasting like a disease. It starts spreading. Now it shift the eyesight. I say.
Good morning, Grenada. Good morning to all of our listening audience. You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada on a beautiful Thursday morning. A special good morning to those of you joining us on 97.5 CitysoundFM, 89.5 CRFM, 92.9 Sister Isle Radio, broadcasting from Hillsborough, Carriacou, and of course 94.9 We Noise Radio out there in the diaspora in Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And for those of you joining us on the live, a special good morning to you. Good morning to Miss Clytie up there in Montjaloux, and of course Miss Bernice joining us on 97.5 from Richmond Hill. A special good morning to you guys. Remember, to those of you joining us on the live, try sharing the program. Of course, we have an interesting topic today, interesting conversation, and I hope that everybody can chime in. The lines are not open just yet, but we'll let you know exactly when they're open so you can contribute, of course, to this meaningful conversation. But when you are ready to call in, our numbers are 440-7377 for our local calls, 440-7377 for WhatsApp, and 347-329-3101. So we're going to get right into it this morning. And with us in studio, we have Miss Vida Bruno Victor. And she is the Secretary General at the Olympic Committee, also former Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Sports. Good morning, Miss Victor. How are you?
Good morning. Very well, thanks, actually. and kind of a little bit excited to be here. I have done so many TV things, so doing a radio program is a good thing. And then when I listen to all the different stations and so on, I just want to say good morning to all my people, especially those in New York. I hope they're listening. All my girls, most of them are over there, so I hope they're listening, and some of my family. So a wide diaspora this morning, so we hope we could get some interesting conversations going.
Absolutely. And this morning, our topic is going to be solely about sports. Sports. There is so much that we need to talk about. There's so much that has been happening in Grenada and for Grenada as it relates to sports and sporting activities, and all of our sportsmen and women out there who are working so hard to keep Grenada on the map. So we want to talk a little bit about that, of course, about some of the opportunities that are available for some of the young people who are interested in sports and they just don't know where and how to go about it. We're going to be getting down into that as well. Of course, a special good morning to those of you joining us from New York, those of you joining us from Jamaica, those of you joining us from Trinidad. Good morning to everybody. We're happy to have you guys here with us this morning. So, Ms. Victor, tell us a little bit about your role, firstly, in the Olympic Committee.
In the Olympic Committee, I am the General Secretary of the Olympic Committee here in Grenada. So I am kind of like the backbone of the work of the Olympic movement in Grenada. But I also serve on international committees, and I serve on the Pan Am Sports Committee. I serve on the executives of Pan Am Sports. That is the regional body for our region. And I also serve on the Association of National Olympic Committees of the World. So I serve on the executive that executive board there too. So it's a wide cross-section of things that you do on the with the Olympic movement, trying to get our athletes into the Olympics and to ensure that when they get there, that they compete well. But in the wider scheme of things, you're trying to see how you could assist the Olympic committees of the world on ANOC, and also the small Olympic committees, because they get stifled in a way by the bigger Olympic committees. Yeah. So you have to be there to make your voice heard, and you have to be able to speak in a way that people could understand. But they understand better when your athletes perform well. Yes. So they would quickly say, "Oh, that's Kirani's country. Are you from Grenada?" And they start to say, "Grenada? No, Grenada. It's in the Caribbean." And by Jamaica, no. It's next to Trinidad and Tobago, and it's next to St. Vincent, and Barbados. And you had to kind of bring it in focus. But, that is Kirani's country. Yes, that's Kirani. And now that is Anderson country. And this is Lyndon's country. Yes. So they kind of put the athletes with the country, and you're able to get a better image. Right. So in the Olympic movement, we have a lot of work doing, trying to get the athletes prepared, get them ready, and that takes a lot because a lot has to be done. Get into the Olympics and get into any games at all, you have to be prepared. So the coaches here, how do they work with the athletes? What do they do? Who pays them? How do you help? How do you make them comfortable? Right. Because an athlete who is not comfortable cannot perform well. Absolutely. So the athlete cannot be thinking, "Look, I don't have house to live in. If I come back in Grenada, I don't know where I sleep in the bed, too short for me. I don't know because I've grown out of the bed. I left and I went to school and now I come back. I've grown out of the bed." So the athlete is thinking about other things that he or she should not be thinking about, so they cannot focus on the events that they're doing. Right. So we try in the Olympic Committee to make them as comfortable as we can, especially those that don't have sponsors. And we try to work along with them, send them to games, get sponsorship for them ourselves, and work with them so that things can happen. Behind the scenes, I don't think that people know the volume of the work that has to be done to send someone to the Olympic Games. And to get them going to the games is one thing, but to get them to perform at a standard that would make people say, I wonder who that there. So you have to be working with the athletes, making them comfortable with you, taking their calls day and night because they're in different time zones, some of them, and making sure that what the expectations are met, and where it cannot be, that you let them know that it cannot be and why and what you would do. Because there is always a solution. It might not be what they want to hear, but there's always something that you can do to help them. So my role is really that, to try and work with the athletes, provide avenues for the various associations under our ambit, So we have 14 or 15 of these associations. A couple don't work hard, but we have them, and we want to provide an opportunity for all of them to get what they need to help them to develop the sport that they're in, and that's what we do. We try to support them, we try to work along with them, and to get them going, because this is a voluntary thing.
Right,
so
it
the various people who had associations, they don't get paid to do it,
Right.
so they do it, but you try, and sometimes what people expect is not all that you can give, so we are there to give them some support.
Right. And do you find that you, from the wider community, like business community and so on, does the Olympic Committee get support from these organizations in order to make life for these athletes more comfortable?
Well, we have been getting something from them, especially, Olympic time is always a nice time.
Yeah.
So Olympic time, lots of people want to work with you. But I don't think that we in the Olympic movement ourselves have done really a good job in begging. I don't think we have really, come out and beg our people and tell our people, look, we need some support with the athletes and so on. We need to give them some more so that they could get better nutrients, that they could have better coaches with them. I don't think that we have done that a lot. We have not been bellowing. It's true the athletes have been performing well, but there is a lot more that can be done to help them. So it is our duty, and we have been looking at that and saying, look, let us talk to our people.
Yeah.
We know that our people don't have a lot. But I recall the Olympics of 2012, and there was a gentleman from St. Andrews, the gas station in St. Andrews, when we were seeking sponsorship. He gave us some money. I don't really remember. We were so, it meant so much to us because he saw the need. It wasn't a big sum of money. He saw the need. And we thought that was so important for him to be part of the whole thing, to help the athletes. And when we had the motorcade for Kirani, we stopped at his place, and he was so happy, and we were able to take pictures and so on. Each Grenadian can be a part of this whole exercise.
Right.
They can be. Those, even if you have a small business, we have not written to anybody and say, look, let us give us some support. But we do need support to help the athletes.
So do you have to kind of assist in people knowing, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who really do want to assist but are not sure what areas they can assist in. Is there any way or any means by which the Olympic Committee puts out a list or basically saying, well, these are the things that we need, maybe not in detail?
I know. We have formed a marketing and promotions committee headed by Second Vice President Ralph James. Mm-hmm. And he is in the process now of doing this, getting an awareness of what is happening and what you can support and so on. So he's going to send out something to the business places, and we're going to do radio interviews and things and talk about what is happening, because as we head into 2020, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be speed. I thought that the last 6 months of this year just ran.
Yes.
Just ran. So
yes.
You know what's going to be happening up until August of next year, please God. Mm-hmm. It's going to speed. Mm-hmm. But with the speed, we need to qualify our athletes.
Yes.
We need to get them qualified, and so we need support to send them to qualifying meets and to make sure that they are comfortable in the situations that they're in, so that they can really perform at their highest level.
Of course. And what qualifying meets, or how many, if not able to name all, but approximately how many meets would they have to attend to really qualify? Because we have Olympics coming up in July of next year.
Yes.
What meets throughout that period would they need to qualify, or would they need to attend to really be qualified to make it to the Olympics?
All right, let's start with who we bring into the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's already time when we have already submitted lists. So we bring in the swimmers.
Right.
One male, one female swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
We are the IOC has asked us, there's a problem with boxing, but they've asked us to work with the Boxing Association. So the boxers are under the Olympic Committee charge now, and they're going to Argentina to a qualifying meet next year. I think it's in February of next year. And then we have the athletes. To date, we have the following athletes that have qualified. Lyndon Victor, Anderson Peters, Kirani James, Braylon Taplin. 4, 5, Haley Hazard. Haley Hazard is a 100-meter, 200-meter young lady. Wow. She is also on the list. And this year, for the first time, there is a certain standard for qualifying. However, there's a certain number in each event. Let's say they're going to take 10 in the 200 meters. So let's say 6 qualify. Then the next 4 that have the 4 best time joins them. So she is on a list of best qualifiers. She was asked to go to the World Championships a bit late, and she had stopped training, so she was not able. But she is one of those. So we have 5 in this small country, Grenada. We have 5 people who have already qualified.
Wow.
We believe that we can qualify about 5 more. So we're working with them. We're working along with them. We're working with the swimmers. They're on wild card. But we believe that Delron, for instance, could probably do well. He's the first swimmer that has qualified for the Youth Olympic Games. First bit of qualification. And it always takes a first step.
Of course.
So we believe that, with a lot of work and so on. And so we want to send them to meets. We want to let them get exposed to high-level swimming. It's all easy and well to swim in the OECS, but we want them to swim in big meets where they can look at their competition and see how far the distance they have to travel in order to get to that podium.
Wow.
So we have these. So these are the 3 sporting events that we're working with for the Olympic Games.
Okay.
And the meets for the athletes are all over the place. It starts, I think there is one sometime next month. And it starts all over the place next year. And our people are going to be running a lot. We believe that our games here are Whitsuntide games, and we're hoping to have the OECS games in the region. They would be qualifying meets also.
Wow, that's wonderful information. I mean, 5 athletes from our little country here in Grenada.
Already qualified.
And these are not people fighting to qualify and all of these. They have already qualified.
Yes.
I mean, that is absolutely wonderful.
It is.
It is wonderful. It's something that we as Grenadians should continue to be proud about, because we have so much going on, in the country, and we need to definitely play a part. So what other sports do we see ourselves? Because I know we have a lot of good runners.
Yeah.
A lot of good runners. We've recently had Anderson Peters with javelin, and we've been expanding as it relates to what sporting activities we participate in. How soon does the Olympic Committee see us getting into other sports, things such like cycling and these sorts of things?
Well, the other sports are all there. Beach volleyball has been a sport that we have worked with. They've come to the Commonwealth Games with us, and they see the distance they too have to travel to be on an international stage. Three-a-side basketball rings a bell in my ear. When I look at three-a-side basketball, I think it is something that we can work hard with and get going with it. Cycling too, we believe that cycling is another, because you look at Trinidad and the cyclists, they're doing it very well. We would say, they have a velodrome. That is true, they do have a velodrome. But years ago, we had good cyclists in Grenada. And we still have people who cycle, and there's a strong cycling association that have been trying really well. So I guess with competition and some support from the region, that they could move up. Once they know that they are looked at, I believe that they will do well and they will try to move along.
Okay.
Triathlon too. Could be you see those individual sports? It makes it easier for 1 or 2 people to come through quickly than it does for a whole team sport like football or so. But that doesn't say that football can't do, because they've been doing well recently. So it's just to support and to have some really good people who could really put their mind and focus on what they have to do and to do it.
There are two other athletes that are coming to mind that I want to ask about. Josh Boateng and I believe Kurt Felix.
Yes.
How are they doing as it relates to qualifying for the Olympic?
We have them. We have a long list. When you have to go to the Olympics, the first thing you have to do is to provide a long list of people. This long list of people could include me and you.
Right.
But a long list, because it is only from that long list that you can select people. So the association gives the best set of names that they could, and we keep them there. Kurt, we expect Kurt to qualify. He was injured, and he has been working through the injury, so we expect Kurt to go. Makim is an next person, Makim Felix.
Right.
He is not trained badly. He's in Grenada now under Paul, under Coach Paul. So he's there, and he's also working with us in a program, helping with the schools. He's in the Imani program trying to help too. So we have Makim, and we have Philip Marcel, who is in the States. Philip is an exceptional athlete. Last year, he did not do too well because he was in the school and he thought he didn't have time to do enough work. So Philip, Court Modeste, some of the names I don't remember, but we have some athletes who are overseas that we expect good performances from this year. Kanika Beckles has been training here. She's in Grenada. She has been training here. So we expect that these people would try and work hard towards a qualifying meet or qualifying for the Olympic Games.
All right. And let me just say, guys, you can, even though the lines are not yet open, if you're joining us on the live video, you can feel free to, if a question comes across your mind, to leave it there, and we will definitely ask Ms. Bruno. If you have a comment as well, you can leave it there, and we'll definitely pass your comment along. Somebody said here, Mrs. Bruno is also a netball star and a future governor general.
Oh, please. Don't go there. Don't go there.
But you never know. You never know.
It's strange, because netball, the people from netball came to a meeting that we had recently to present netball to the Caribbean, to the area of the Caribbean, Central America, and the Caribbean region. And to my great astonishment, in the presentation that they were making, up comes something, Vida Bruno. I'm like, okay. and then, I because not only because of that, I decided, look, to support them. Because there was a call for netball to come into the Olympic Games. So they're working on it now, bringing it through the region. So we're really working to see how we get it going there. But Governor General, let's leave. That's one gone too far.
Oh, my. But let's talk about qualifying. What exactly, because we hear the topics, you have to qualify for the Olympics. And I guess in most people's minds, you run a few races, you have to win your races, and then you qualify. What exactly does it take for you to qualify for the Olympics?
In the Olympic Games, there are standards that are set. Let's say, for example, the standard for the 400 meters men. Let's say that for the 400 meters men is 46 seconds.
Right.
Let's say it is that. But for the Olympics, we are only taking 400 athletes. Let's say, I don't think it's all that, but let's say it's 400. From the 400, let's say 367 makes that time. They have to now get the other 33 from the best set of athletes with time.
Right.
So it could be 46.1, 46.2, and whatever, probably even up to 47. So that's how you qualify now. Before, it was only those who made the time. So those who made the time, you were sure you are going. Now you could make the time and do not go. Now you could not make the time and go, because it's a certain number that they are taking. So let's say they're taking 500 in the 100 meters men. 500, and the time for the 100 meters men, let's say it's 10.5. I don't know the time, but I'm just saying. Let's say it's 10.5, and let's say 500 and whatever made that time. they are going to decide. That is the athletic, and it is the associations, the international body, the technical commission. They are the ones who decide on who the people would be for the event.
Okay. All right, I understand. So from the long list that we have submitted, we have 5 that have already qualified.
Yes, and we have the Josh Boateng, Philip Massa. We have all of them on the long list. So it's up to them now to really work, because the athletes know, they know a lot, they know everything. So the athletes know that they have to work hard. They know that they have they know the standards that they have to perform, to make. So they know, and Josh is not too far off, but a little distance. So the discuss is a hard event, but I show that he is focused and that he will do well.
Right. So the athletes are all in preparation mode.
Oh yes.
Because July is not that
far
away.
Not that far.
The way that the months are running now, weeks. So
and you know what? They have up until June. I think it's the end of June to qualify. So they still have a window. They still have a window. They have a window. They do have a window.
A window of time. And what encouragement would you give to young people? Because I know there are a lot of so many talented sportsmen and women in Grenada. What encouragement would you give? What avenues, if they don't know as yet, can they seek to better expose themselves?
I think that the program in Grenada is what contributes to the athletes' development, and all of the athletes, whether you be netballer, footballer, basketballer, whatever it is, it begins in school. It begins from the cradle. It begins from the beginning. So when you're at school and you competed, you're seen from there.
Right.
People see you compete, you go to Carriacou, or whatever it is, your junior event. You go to your junior event. And then you move from the junior event and you move on to the senior event. And this is why it is so important for us to do a couple of things in our school. For us to be encouraged to continue our physical education program in schools. Our physical education program is the backbone to the development of every sport.
Right.
A physical education teacher can be a maths teacher, but a special teacher must be the physical education teacher. I want to stress the importance of the physical education teacher within the school. Not only is the physical education teacher going to do the sport or the exercises or what we want with the athletes, the children get to talk to them.
Right.
What the children doesn't tell the classroom teacher that jumps in and out, they speak to the physical education teacher. That teacher is a very observant person. Quickly, they would notice a change in a child. They would notice a child with a change. They would notice a child with $100 Thursday. Thursday is not a day for $100. $100 is Monday morning, and $100 big for Monday.
Yeah.
So you would notice so many different things happening. The physical education teacher is supposed to have the technical eye.
Right.
That has the eye that would see. Would notice a child that needs support, needs help, something is wrong with you today. What's going on? What's happening? You need to soften them up. Especially if they're girls.
Yeah.
What's happening? Something is happening. So the physical education teacher is a very, very important element of the curriculum. These days, we have physical education as a subject, core subject. So that makes it even more important. So the physical education teacher must be from primary school. From primary school, we must have a physical education teacher. And we must have them involved in all of what's happening throughout the school. So the children don't get too fat and tired and they don't do anything. But you sit down and even if they look a little chubby, you say, sweetheart, you look sweet today. And you talk with them and you make sure and you say, you'll look nicer if we work with you. So, you have to get children involved. So the physical education program in our schools is very, very important.
Right.
And as I said to you, just before the athletes, as you start at that level, you come up and you're in the sport. So we see you in football. We know you. We know you we know Shalry when he was in GBSS in football. We know Nixon. We know everybody in football. We know everybody that's supposed to be there. So we work with you. And the coaches come around and they see you. And they say, okay, we want to go with you. But we're going to soon get to a point in Grenada where we don't go anyway because we have good coaches and so on, and we could do things. But at this point in time, we still have the notion that we should go away. So, and it's good too. It's good exposure for the children and all of that and everything, and a future for our children. So, when we don't have an intercall, for instance, you know what setback it caused to the children? They miss a year, and a year in sports, a year in track and field, for instance, it's a difficult thing. Yeah. You've gone to a next stage. You're not in the same level you're at, and so the coach might not see you. That might have been your last year for exposure, and so we were really saddened last year when we were not able to have the intercall. We had something else, which is not as fantastic as intercall, because intercall is the big thing. It's in your bone, eh? So we were glad that there was a substitute, but the fact that we didn't have the intercall created a little disturbance in our head, eh? So we want to make sure that we give the opportunity to the children. We give them an opportunity to be able to develop themselves. And through that competition is one of those.
So even at an intercall level, we have international coaches coming in and looking at our children's performance.
And sometimes they don't have to come because the athletes themselves have their parents filming them. They send it to the coaches so they see them. They see them in competition. But you want to be in a competition that is recognized. That is a big competition for your country. And that's why it's so important for us to have those meets and to have those sports, intercall football, intercall netball, intercall whatever it is.
Right. And I saw it as that as well last year when the intercall didn't happen, and to me I felt like we looked at it as just an extracurricular activity when it's more of a gateway for our children.
It is a huge gateway. And not only that, a child goes to secondary school with great expectations.
Yeah.
You get into Form 1 and you're thinking, this is what I'm going to do from Form 1, right? Because you would have come out from primary school a top athlete, for instance, or a top netballer. So you expected to come in and to get in. You miss 1 year and you kind of get so despondent and you get laid back. Unless there is somebody there to pep you up and to encourage you, look, this is not the end of the world, to come into an association and let us work with you or so on. Yeah. So one has to be very careful how we do things, what we do, and how it affects the development of the children.
That's so true and so important. I want to touch a little bit on your previous portfolio. You were in the Ministry of Sports as a permanent secretary.
Yes, I was.
And you would have had a first-hand look at the sporting, I don't want to say activities, but what the government and what the system would provide for sporting organizations and so on to assist these children. So do you want to give us a little insight on? I know it's been a while.
It's been a while. However, I see people all the time who ask me a lot of questions about sport in the country and so on. So my brains keep ticking. But the government has done a lot for sports in Grenada. This is the role of government, to provide an avenue so that the sport can be executed. Right. So what is government role? Government role, and I used to tell my ministers that, government role is to make sure the fields and facilities good. And I must commend the fact that we have so many different contractors all over the place and that even liquor fields are upgraded and kept there. What we have to work hard on now is making sure that we have a liquor pavilion by them with a liquor washroom by almost all of them, and we could work towards that. Yeah. Because some of them we started to do just that. So we have the facilities. Then we have some of the sport that we have to work with now to get an indoor facility that could accommodate a lot of these sports, volleyball, table tennis. A lot of them, although they play in community centers and so, they still need that. But there is a place for them to play. The government role is to ensure that the facilities are well kept and that it is there. Government also has a role where it can look at the coaching, the ability, the coaches, because there are coaches within the ministry, how you use them, the effective use of the coaches that you have with them, to work along with the associations, not on their own, but to work along with the association, to work along with the PE teachers in the school, because a PE teacher is not a coach. Although a PE teacher, if they know the sport, can coach it, their primary responsibility is to teach physical education. So they can work, so the coaches within the ministry would work along with them to provide the development. Sometimes they have courses and so on that government could also provide to help with the administration. And of course, to help them fund the team to send them away. So those are some of the important roles that government must not interfere in the running of any association. They must, however, be respected, and they must be told what is happening, and you mustn't come and bully them to give you money to go nowhere, but you must come months before and write their minister, and you will tell them what you were doing before, and that you have to go to the OECS swim meet, and that we would like some assistance. Here's what we have raised, and this is what we still need to raise. But sometimes, they come to you, they have not done a thing, and they figure that it is the government role to just send them go. No. So we talk to them in the Olympic movement about how you work together with government. So we all work together, the association, the Olympic committee, and the government, to ensure that things like that are happening with them. So government have special rules. Not because they're not supposed to interfere, they can ask questions. They can ask a question, well, what's happening to Mary Jane? And you would say, okay, Mary Jane. Because the minister needs to know. He needs to know. They're the one that is really, in the background helping and giving support. And we have to respect their roles and help them move forward. I know that they're working now on the new sports policy, and I hope this really gets going again, because we have to start looking at what we give the athletes and so on, and swimmers, and when they perform well, what we do. Yes, because the land won't last forever, and we wouldn't want to sell Market Hill. So we have to work together and to make sure. So government has a role, and a very, very key role. And so it is important for us for association, government, and Olympic Committee to work together.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm glad to know that the government is doing their part and continues to do their part in the role of helping our young athletes. Last year when they had the secondary school games, I took my children. They're in primary school, and I took them because they like sports, like watching, and so on. And I was in shock when my daughter said to me that there was a young lady running in the under 12 race that went to her school, SDA.
Really? Okay.
And they had put her to run, I think, because she runs with a club.
Okay, probably.
I can't remember the name of that club, but she runs with a club, and she does so well, and she ran and won her races, and I was so surprised. And it led me to think that if we have our young children at such a young age excelling in sporting activities. I mean, not everybody's going to be a lawyer, a doctor, or, a physician. No, not everybody. You have to hone in on their skills, what they're good at. And if you have so many of our young people just showing such excellence at such a young age in sports, we should encourage it. And I'm hoping that most of our parents, or if not all, that see these kind of qualities in their children.
Well, it brings me to talk a bit about opportunities in sports.
Right.
Growing up as a young girl, I played a lot of netball in school. And my father used to say, I'm waiting for the results. I'm waiting. So I used to have to make sure that I have good results. My father was a sticker for good maths. He said, child, you must know how to count your money. And you must speak well. So your English had to be good. And then he looked now at the comment, oh, you're talking? Well, I'm looking for Miss McIntyre, Lord. From the time I hear looking for Miss McIntyre, that means no netball. So I be even good from that time. And you can't talk in class. And so my father used to look, those are the things that he really looked at. And he said to me, I really wanted to be an accountant. That's why I'm a maths person. I'm really a maths person. And I really asked Minister Bowen, he'll tell you how good I am at the maths. So I was a maths person. And I really wanted to be an accountant. But I loved the sport. I loved netball and I loved sports. So when I went into teaching, I continued. And I really liked sports. But we have to understand that in this era, sports provides a lot for children, for young people. It is an avenue for almost anything. Yesterday, I was listening to Vice President James of the FA talking about the need to have officials, football referees, and he was looking for female referees. Now, very soon, they are going to pay such big money for officiating in sports.
Right.
That is an area that we need to start focusing and looking at, an area, an avenue for the development that young people can use. So we have coaches, which is the first thing they will tell you, coaches. We have teachers. We have doctors. We have masseurs. We have chiropractors.
Right.
We have so many different things that the physiotherapist is a key area that we need, especially in Grenada. If you watch, when you watch, you see somebody limping around. My old shoes we playing long ago. so you're looking now there are areas that our sports people can aim towards. And even like, right, people used to think you have to dance. No. If you dance, you can't think properly. You have to really work hard academically. You have to be able to marry both things, the academics and the sports.
I believe, right, because I taught for 6 years. And I believe that it's very important. I don't believe there's any dunce children.
Oh, no.
I believe that we as teachers just don't know how to hone in on what interests the child. So, for example, you have a lot of children out there who want to be in athletics. They want to be a coach. They want to be a physiotherapist. They want to be, like you said. But we need to know how to, like you said, marry the two.
Yes.
How to make it relevant.
Yes. So you want to be a doctor, you could be a sports doctor. You could, we need to let them know what is available. And the fact that I have no problem with lawyers, the fact that everybody wants to be a lawyer or everybody wants to be a doctor, it is going to exhaust. It's a small country. So we want to make sure that there are opportunities that the athlete can see and they could aim towards getting there. You see? And when you're right. They know. I always said that. And I said, if I had to come back in life again, I would only teach. I love to teach because I believe that children can learn.
Absolutely.
It just takes different avenues to help them to learn.
Yes.
And when you see a child that has learned and they come to you, especially with their name, and they say, Miss, look my name. Sometimes the name and look like it. Oh, sweet. Oh, lovely. No, especially when they draw mommy and daddy. Lord, I don't know what stick is that, but this is mommy and this is daddy, and I see mommy and I see daddy too. And I know you need to show children that you love them and that you care for them, and they will do anything, especially to learn.
But it's the same as with the athletes. I mean, in order for you to succeed in anything, you have to be comfortable. If your mind is all over the place worrying and wondering, Lord, I wonder if Miss go like this. I wonder if when I get back home I will have a house. I wonder if my mother and my father are good. If you're worried about all of these things, you can't focus on your craft.
No, you can't.
And make it better. So has the Olympic Committee thought about or even started implementing career guidance as it relates to sports and the career opportunities available within the sporting sector?
We have not really reached that far, but our Olympic Academy, which is the education arm of the Olympic movement, and something that I've just taken on now, but it was first headed by my Assistant Secretary General Lucy Steele when she was there, and they started to do a lot of work going to the schools. Going to the schools to tell children of the opportunities that was available. It started off last term when all this trouble started with things, and we had to slow down. But I think they went to Westmoreland, to J.W. Fletcher. They went to a couple schools, and we intend to start it back up in the new year, where we visit the schools and talk talk to the children. That's what the academy teaches. It's the education arm of the Olympic movement, and it also teaches the children what is available, what happens. If you're an Olympian, for instance, we have an Olympian, Francis, who is now in London doing his master's degree, funded by the international, by the IOC. Those things are available. We want the Olympians, when they finish, to get an avenue to move forward. So we have to prepare them. So we need to tell children that. And that sports is not just running and beat up yourself. Not at all. There's an avenue for making money, because it's something that can bring you financial gains, you and your family, and change your whole lifestyle. And it is an avenue for greater education. There are lots of training and teaching in the Olympic movement, and that's what we do. We work along with the associations to train and to teach, and we're going to be working along with the Ministry of Sports, because they have the coaches that we want to train in the different levels of the sport. We had tennis. The Tennis Association had a level 1 program in September, and they had on the mainland here and over in Carriacou. So you want to make sure that you work hard with them to make them know that these things are available.
All right, that's wonderful. And I think it's important, because when you look at our current society, and like you said, a lot of our children are going off to be lawyers. Well, when I was growing up, nobody couldn't tell me that I didn't want to be a lawyer. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a lawyer because I thought I talked a lot, and that was the field that would get me the opportunity to just run my mouth. So I wanted to be a lawyer. Nobody could tell me otherwise. But I think it's important for not only parents, or not only teachers, but parents as well, to guide their children as it relates to not just. You know that you ask a child now, what do you want to be? They either want to be a lawyer, a doctor, or a policeman, or maybe a nurse, right? Those are the 4 main fields that you hear them talking about. And a teacher, and a teacher, and we have to start coming away from that, because in order for a country to develop, we need to be able to diversify our people, right, career-wise, because we have to be able to fill the different fields where we're lacking, and come away from the place where we keep importing people to fill the different fields. So I think that it's important, not just to tell our children they do well so you can have a good career, but also to guide them in what careers are available and what careers they can get out of careers. Because some people feel that running, Kirani James already has his career because he's running and he win the Olympics. And in athletics, the only career you can have really is to become either a coach or the actual athlete.
No.
So it's important for us to kind of guide them as to what other fields are available within, that sector. So I'm glad to hear that the Olympic Academy is going around and informing in the different schools. But I think sometimes, and that's just me, I believe that sometimes we have to be a little bit more proactive in terms of just, sometimes I believe we do a lot of talking. We talk, we inform, we talk, we inform, we talk, we inform. But then we need to start creating those avenues where that information can be utilized.
You are so right. We have just formed an athletes commission. The IOC has mandated that each Olympic Committee of the world has an athletes commission that would look after the athletes, that would come to the Olympic Committee and say, look, you have not been doing a good job with the athletes. You have not been educating them enough. You have not been providing for them guidance that will tell them what they can do when they leave school. The Athletes Commission, so much so, that's the first commission that the IOC is giving money to help them with the programs that they're going to be doing next year. They're starting from next year to give them money to help them run the Athletes Commission. So we have an Athletes Commission here, and we hopefully it's headed by a young lady from the Karate Association, and they're very energetic and eager, and I'm going to speak with them about getting the athletes exposed some more to what is available for them. So the Athletes Commission is a strong commission that the IOC thinks need to work with the athletes of the country and make sure not only are they able to run well, but that they have good manners, that they know that they must eat properly, that they must not do wrong things, that, and talk with them about how they could develop the sport.
All right, that's wonderful. I mean, we have so many and I'm just trying to pull up here all of the different areas, that are available in terms of for the Olympics, so the different sports and so on. And what I want to ask really is, apart from we have a lot of different clubs that do running, we have cycling, we have boxing, we have karate, we have swimming. What other sporting clubs do we have available on island?
We have football, we have tennis, we have table tennis, we have volleyball, we have what else is active? We have the netball, we have, how many have I called there already? We have karate, and karate is a widespread bit, and they have only sometime about 2 years ago were they taken into the IOC, so they kind of new to the body. We have the boxers, we have bodybuilding is along with us, and we hope that they might be given some bit of recognition so they can think, but the bodybuilders are there. And I think this is it. I don't know if I've left out anybody, but that's.
Do we see a marriage between because I know as part of the curriculum, right? There's physical education, and physical education, it's in my this is my personal opinion. As a teacher, I've spent so much time as a teacher, and I've seen that it's so underutilized. That's the word I want to use. Physical education in school, it's so underutilized. You have the children, they go outside, run about for an hour, come back, drink water, and when it's sports time, they go heats and training and all of that. But to me, I believe that physical education must be so much more, because we must teach our children about the different types of sports. We must teach our children about proper breathing.
Well, there you go.
These kinds of things. But do we see a marriage between these associations that we have in Grenada and the schools to say, okay, well, for physical education, maybe even if it's once a month, a child can say, well, I am interested in playing volleyball. So I know on Tuesdays I am going, or this committee is going to come, or this organization is going to send a representative who is going to assist me in playing volleyball, or something along those lines, to kind of help mold our children into that mindset.
I think that is going to be available, because I know that a lot of the association have junior sports. They have cool volley and they have different things. When I went to teach at high school, I was so shocked. When I said, do you know Auntie Nellie thread your needle? Well, they didn't know Auntie Nellie. Well, don't talk about the thread needle. So they have no idea what I'm talking about. I said, okay, do you know rabbit in the hutch? I started to ask like a game that I know. No, I said, okay, well, we start there. So I told the children, I said, listen, this is a time for you to enjoy yourself. So I would be teaching about netball, but hear me. There's two long lines or the sidelines, and they have 50 feet long. I want you to jump using your right foot to hop down the sideline. My dear, if you saw what hop was. So now because you need to know how to hop. You need to know how to skip. Yeah. I had to bring a rope so we could skip. And you must know how to dance. Yeah. It was in school that we learned two-step waltz. Yeah. So by graduation time, you and your father dancing is two-step waltz. So you learn these things. So the children, the physics must not be a ball heave outside. Oh, no, it is not that. The physical education teaches you about yourself, the different changes in your body, what to expect. Yes. So it's a health program. It's everything. So it teaches you a number of things, but it is in the program that you would see a child You say hop and you see how high this child's foot would go. This child, if she gives some chance, this child would high jump. So you have to look right inside at the program that you're teaching them. They must know how to pitch marble. They must know how to play hopscotch. The children must know how to do children things. So they get a chance in the phys ed program to learn all these things. No sooner do you take a ball and you heave it and you say play netball, half the class watching the bus that passing on the side. No, I want all of you involved in what is happening here. So each child must know the different positions in all the sports. I went and I bought my own volleyball. I don't know not much volleyball, but I know them trying like to hit over things. So all of us playing, half on this side, half on that side, and we hitting and we having a good time. So you have to get the children motivated and interested. When I retired, I went back to high school. I said, you know what? I need to go and do a little bit of something instead of sitting down home and watching the Young and Restless. Let me see. So I went back to high school. First thing, I talked to the children about the school that they come from and so on. And I said, I told them, I said, you like sports? And one girl told me, she said, no, I don't like sports. I said, okay. So we reached the stage now where we went. I'm looking at her all the time. We went down to the netball court and I said, you know what? Something just told me let her go and shoot. Let her put her to shoot. I was going to teach them how to shoot and thing. The first ball that child shoot up, it went in the ring. Well, that was the end of the sport she didn't like. She didn't want to come off. I said, but she could play with the next team because they don't have a shoot. She suddenly became a shoot, and she wanted to be on the next team.
Look at that.
But children must understand a lot of different things. You must teach them respect, good manners, some discipline. Excuse me, they can't pass on people, especially the people when I was teaching in Tantin. Oh no, when I send you to Mr. DeBellat, you better go with some good manners to Mr. DeBellat for the ball because you have to know what you're about. So it's in these classes that you teach the children all of this. And the Olympic Academy has an arm that has a whole set of disciplines that they want us to teach the children.
That is absolutely wonderful, and I think that with this venture, if we can roll it out in all of the schools, then we would see a greater love not just for sports but for education as well.
Yes,
because the children would be more encouraged. They want to go to school because you have to do this and that. And there's so many things that we can teach them within the sports that they can utilize in the classroom as well.
And you know, strange enough, is that when the school doing good sporting-wise, academically they do well too.
They do well.
So it just rubs off because the children are encouraged. Because I would say, listen, this is your time to get home. This is the time for you to be in your book. And this is the time to sleep. I used to give them time, this.
Yeah.
And I walk in with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And if you didn't understand something in class, I get in the teacher to come and help you, to come and give you some support because some children takes longer to do their work and you want them to do well.
You want them to do well because it doesn't just end at being famous.
Of course not.
When you get on the field because you have to have a fallback plan,
And I always tell them that. I said, listen, there is no work that say if you could run, come. I didn't know where it is. Ask Dr. Sean Lambert. He always says that. Every time I see Miss B, I remember what you tell us. I want you to do well. I want you to marry both of them because there is no work that say if you could run, come. But when people know you, oh, Sean, that's you? Okay. As soon as you apply for a job, they know you already. They know, and so it helps.
Yeah, but of course, even though it helps, you still have to go in there and perform.
Yes.
You still have to go in there and perform. But I like that. And do you know of any opportunities? So in terms of, because I know we have a few of our children here that have gone off to on athletic scholarships to study in some college overseas and so on. Do you know of any right now that we have studying, apart from Lyndon Victor and Kirani James and so on, that would have received a scholarship of some kind to go away and study?
Well, Melanie Rodney comes to mind right away. She is one of our athletes, and she is another one that I expect to qualify for the Olympic Games. So she is on an Olympic scholarship, and she's out. And there were a few from St. David's. I don't remember their names now, but there were a few from St. David's. But I think of Hazelyn Regis because she's now the principal of a school in New York. And I think of her, and I think of how well she has done. Some of the children did not return to Grenada, but there are a few who have returned and who we are going to work with some of them to make sure that they are in the loop so that people who know who they are. But there are a few children who are out now. Well, I have not kept up with those going out, but except those that we have close connection with. But there are children who have gone out, and there are children still waiting to go.
Wow, that is absolutely wonderful to hear.
Yes.
That's wonderful to hear. So I'm hoping that this year we can look forward to an intercall games.
I think so.
Where most of our athletes who didn't get an opportunity last year to really shine can do that and probably fulfill on some of their dreams. Now you guys have a brand new building down at Montrouge. Tell us a little bit about what that building entails.
Well, first of all, we open a building and we invite a lot of the schools visit. I'm going to try and come and tour during the holidays. They visit and they come, and we have open days and things, and we invite people to the schools to come in. This building is the Sporting People of Grenada building. It is for them.
Right.
So we have 2 stories of building. The first, on the bottom floor, we have a museum.
Okay.
We have not started, but this 2020 is the year for us to look at putting the things into the museum. And we've asked the association to find some of the older, best people that they want to showcase.
Right.
Probably the Donald Pear, whoever it is you think about, Walter St. John, different people, different area, different things.
Right.
And we want to put them up in the museum and have a write-up with them. We have a video, something, I think it was done, I can't remember his name, Barry Collimo did something on Kirani. We want to have that so when the classes come, they can sit down and look at the Kirani story. We want to have these things. So that's the museum. The IOC mandates that every Olympic headquarters have a museum so they could show the development of the old Olympics into the new Olympics and so on. So that's what we want to showcase. So that's the museum. Then we have a library where we expect people to come in and sit. We're going to put a computer library. It's not a book library. A library where you can link up and everybody come and, research your work and so on. So we're working on that too. And then downstairs is a gym. We have an area for the gym, and then we have a few offices. We have a storeroom down on the bottom there. We also have dormitories. We have male and female dormitories so that athletes who go out late in the night or have to leave early in the morning, they can overnight. Or if we have a level 1 course or so, we can put you up in there. It holds about 20 people in all or something like that. So it's just that space we have there. And then at the top we have the auditorium. What do you call that again? We have that. We have the official offices, and we have a lecture room so that if we have level 1 and so courses, we could have it there. We do rent out of facilities to people who ask. We, depending on what it is, or we bring over some of our people in youth on the next side. Okay. Our neighbors, we say, come over and sit with us. They are neighbors, so they're part of what's happening so we have spaces that we do. So that's what we have down on the bottom.
So when you say that it's open, it's for our athletic community, of course.
No, the schools are going on a tour, and they call us and say they're coming to St. George's, and we say, okay, we stop. But there's an Olympic week in June, and during that week, we invite schools to come. We invite them to come down, bring the children, come, take pictures, do what. And sometimes when we feel a little, we ask the bank or so to team up with us, and we make juice and thing, and we give them and so on.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we're going to start opening the lines for the people who are out there that may have a question or two. Oh, and early already, we get the first call. So we have our first caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Miss Duncan.
Good morning.
Good morning to Mrs. Well, I don't know if it's Miss or Mrs.
Whatever.
Mrs. Bruno.
Whatever is good for me.
All right, no. Miss Bruno, I have heard of your name for so long.
Really?
Looking at you now, I'm surprised that you are still a young, strong, and energetic person with that level of passion. No, Miss Duncan, is Miss Bruno laughing there? Kind of, I hope this is not Saturday Night Live. You know? No, okay, yes, serious. And you would have pointed out, the opportunity, all the opportunities that exist in sports. Whether it's coaches, physios, trainers, sports medicine personnel, sports administration, physical education, even doctors.
Yes.
And now, I know you have worked with many different governments before. The question I want to ask you, Miss Bruno, how supportive is this government in contrast to the other governments that you would have worked with directly or indirectly when it comes to sports? How would you quantify this government support for sports? I would like to thank you and have a pleasant day.
Thank you very much, and that's a good question. I've worked since Uncle Gary time. The gentleman is right, I've been around for a long time. I started teaching in Uncle Gary time. And it seemed to me as though a lot of the government, they had a great love for sports. So let's look at Uncle Gary himself. Most of the facilities we had before was built through him. Then when we came to the PRG, they upgraded most of the facilities that he had. They too had a love for sports because it was from the PRG time that I had a proper understanding of what it means to love a country. Mm-hmm. And so it was their time. And then when we came after them was Mr. Blaze and so, everybody as a leader, he was not really so inclined. So too was the next government, probably the NDC government. The leadership was not the leader. In all leader, Dr. Keith, well, of course, playing cricket and so on. His love for sports, it should be a little wider, but he loved the cricket, and you can't fault him. He just loved it. I look at him recently and I say, probably he could go and spin 2 balls. I know where they go hit him, but I think too that we were fortunate to have a lot of good sporting ministers and those that I work with. I am a very open person. I'm a very frank person, and I believe that we had very good sports ministers. Minister Spaceman, in my mind, was one of the best sports ministers around. He loved sports. You could ask him anything. I don't know how he think, Conrad, did you see this girl? This 800 meters girl from whichever school. I said, well, what trouble is this? But he loved sports. He loved sports in general. He knew all that was happening around sports. He loved sports. So we had a lot of good sportsmen. Minister Pear, Minister Simmons, being a sportsman himself, had a very, very great love for sports. It's unfortunate that they probably wasn't in the time when they had a lot of money that they could have spent and do a lot of things. And the period that they were there was very short. So they didn't have time to really execute a lot of things. But they went into the sports policy and they were able, they stood up with us when we went to the Olympics because they were there. As the people for the Olympics of 2012. And they did give support in the budget to having to help with the Olympics and so. Right. But because this government has spent so much time within the country, they have been able to do a lot more things than anybody else. Right. And I believe that the love for sports, sports is such a wide thing. Sports is about tourism.
Yes.
Sports is about health, the health ministry. Sports, when people ask you a question and they ask you where you from, we could come there. We want to come there. We want the we want the Russians to come home and work with a boxing team. We want to provide. We do provide for the Canadians to visit. They come and they train in Grenada in the off season. That's what's happening now.
Wow.
They train in Grenada. They for the past 2-3 years they've been here training in Grenada during the off season. That's a stretch of the sports tourism.
Yes.
So this government has been able to do a lot. And this sport minister is an excellent sports minister. He thinks before he talks. And that's my sometimes when you talk too quick, you end up in trouble. But he thinks before he speaks. And he is open to listen. He is listening. Mm-hmm. He is going to write down and then he's going to find out. So we have gotten a lot of assistance from this government, but there's a lot more that they have to do. A lot more.
Absolutely.
So a lot more. There's always room for a lot more to be done. Mm-hmm. But the assistance is there. And I cannot fault Minister Simmons, my boy Minister Simmons. Minister Simmons was there supporting and working. Everybody have the area and working. It's just that it didn't last too long, so there we go. But I must say that governmental support has been good, especially in terms of upgrading of the playing fields and the facilities. And we look forward with great anticipation to our swimming pool for the swimmers. Great anticipation. They've asked me to head a committee that I'm working with so that we can get some support from FINA for the swimming pool. Mm-hmm. Of course, government would have to put something into it. We're working on that now. So hopefully we should have something during next year for the swimmers.
That's good because I've heard a lot of talk about the swimming pool.
Yeah, the swimming pool should have been there long before. As a matter of fact, this government paid to motor pools a down payment for the swimming pool since 95, 96 years ago. The motor pool still have the down payment. So the intention to get a swimming pool was always there.
And what do you think is some of the difficulty in it becoming a reality?
Well, it has hit the ground now. It's going to be a reality.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's going to be a reality. It's going to be there. We're working now. The Swimming Association is working with FINA, the international body, putting things together. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
That would be great because our swimmers have been out there making remarkable strides on behalf of Grenada. And it would be nice for us to be able to bring some of that here to Grenada, as you said, to
competition
increase.
And so on. People could see,
that would be absolutely
nice.
wonderful.
Yes.
That would be good.
We look forward.
Of course we do. We always do. And what are some of the sporting activities? I know the Olympic Committee, we have a few that happen during the year. But what sporting activities do you see or foresee us hosting, or even through the Olympic Committee hosting in Grenada in the near future?
Well, I'm expecting the OECS region. Long time that we used to have. I say long time. Years ago, we used to have a lot of OECS games, and OECS netball, OECS tennis, OECS this. The OECS region, the Olympic committees of the OECS has returned to roots and said, look, we need to come back together. Right. So hopefully we should be able to, of course, the Whitsuntide Games is going to be there. That's a feature for the Athletic Association. It's going to run there. And hopefully, I don't know if we should have some netball or we should have some basketball or something, but we should be able to have a few games. But this is the Olympic year.
Yes.
So our focus heads to Tokyo.
The question I have is relating to the netball team, because I know they've been doing well internationally.
They've been trying.
They've been trying. How far are they, or how close are they to even looking at Olympics in the near future?
Earlier on, I did tell you about them making a presentation to Central America and the Caribbean region called Carriacou. Now, you have to study. The netball is in the Commonwealth Games. It's a Commonwealth sport. So it's already there. So we have to get it in the Carriacou region, and then Pan Am region before it reached by Olympics. So it has some steps to climb still.
Right.
But one of the things with sport from the IOC is that you must have sport for male and female.
Right.
So you can't have a sport like netball, women alone. And that's why now you see men have started to become involved in it.
Yeah.
And you cannot only have it from one region of the world.
Yeah.
It must be for a wider cross-section.
Right.
So now they're trying to spread the sport around so that more people could be involved in it and more people could play it, then the IOC would give it a little nod. But all for now, the window is small because it's too narrow. It doesn't have enough people taking play netball.
I love netball. I think netball is a beautiful, graceful sport.
It certainly is.
When in my early years of secondary school,
where did you go to school?
I went to Anglican High School.
My school?
For a couple years, and then after Ivan, of course, because of I had to transfer to. So Beacon is really my alma mater.
Okay.
But I played netball briefly as an extracurricular, and I just loved it. Maybe I'm a little too short for netball.
No, you're not. It has all position for all people. If I was in high school at your time, you'd do something.
When I first started playing the sport, my interest in it really was the pretty little skirts.
Of course, but this is where you start.
The pretty little skirts.
You would not believe it. When I went to high school to teach, they had some kind of dull-looking blue clothes. So I said to myself, well, what clothes is that? Oh, you could play it. No. So I thought of Trinidad and Tobago, who at the time wore white and piped it with it. And it was their uniform that I stole from first to make. Miss Henry on the Carnage made the first girls' uniforms for them. And I remember Connie. I remember how Connie tell me, she said, hey, Miss B, there's a school skirt. I said, the skirt is not yours. It's going to last you for 10 years. So by the time you leave school, you go be the right length. It's okay. Go ahead with it.
Oh, my. But it really is it's a beautiful sport. I think it hones in on so many other sports like basketball, and things like dancing and the gracefulness and so much critical thinking because you have to pivot and you can't pivot on that foot. You have to pivot on it's so much, and a lot of our young ladies, I don't think anymore, are getting involved in the netball as before.
No,
before you see high school and convent and Happy Hill and everybody just all the schools, even during their physical education time, they're on the court just utilizing that court for netball, and I don't see much of that anymore, and I'd like to see that.
Yes, I think they need to return to those glory days. I do some work too with Montreal RC, which was the first school that I taught with, and Sister, bless Sister Hart up there. I do some work with them. I have not been able to go this term because I've been so busy in and out. So once I'm here, I go up and join the coach from the ministry to give them some help. So, we move on with the sports. We move on.
I have a young lady here that's saying that she really didn't like netball, and you made her play it once, and she was so bad that she never played it again.
Well, I could think of a lady named Brenda Batiste. I wonder if it's she. But there are different positions in netball, you know. And you could have a position like Brenda, leading the singing group, and leading the group when high school had to play, leading in the stands.
The support group.
Yes, for netball. She was also there for track and field, walking halfway through. You have to wait till 4 evening because she had to come in.
She said her name is Bonnie.
Oh, Bonnie Logan?
Yes.
Bonnie Logan, an exceptional athlete, exceptional track athlete.
Yes.
So everybody, horses for courses. Bonnie, darling, Miss B couldn't put you in the mountain. But she was an exceptional track athlete. Yes.
And that just goes to show so many different sports, a wide range of sports. You may not be able to play netball, but you could do something else. Yes. And I'm wondering is there an association, even a private association, that deals with training young children. So just like the track and field would have their organizations where you can send your daughters and your sons to train and so on. Does netball have that kind of thing?
Well, we used to have, I think Miss Simpson runs a training program in River Road now. She's retired herself. She runs a training program, and it's a really good one that you could send your young ladies to and so on. But you have to realize that not every child would be a good athlete. Just as not every child is going to be a good mathematician. But as I told the children, every child must know about this sport. You don't have to run, but you could know about how to run. And then you must support. So the whole rest of the school must be supporters. That's why high school used to have everybody there. Because those who nothing in, they're writing the song on the board for them to sing, and they're writing and they're coming down. So they used to have practice after school. I don't know how things change up now.
Yeah, it's not a lot of the sports that are available for people who are already in it.
Yes, and
not people who want to. Because I have a daughter. And I can guarantee that she's so much like me that when she sees that little skirt, she doesn't even care how hard the game is.
She's going to be there.
She wants to play because it's just cute. And I think if we start at that level of engaging our young men and our young women in the different sporting activities, even if it's not on a level where they can do it at school or as an extracurricular activity through the school, there are different associations that make themselves available. So that on a Saturday I could drop my daughter off at netball practice and go home and sleep.
Yes, we used to have that before. It's something that we should look at. But as you say that, I believe that children should get an opportunity. You never know what could happen. Give the children an opportunity. Expose them. I remember we used to have children and Klein, Marquez. And bus used to stop to watch them high jumping. And they put up I said, leave the rod where it is. But they want to make sure. Because they're big, they feel they could do it. And you used to give them the opportunity. It's an opportunity that children need. And you need to encourage them.
Yes, of course. I have a gentleman here who's asking, Mrs. Bruno, what is the status of cricket in Mongelou, Marianne, and Woburn now that they have lighted fields?
Well, cricket in Mongelou, Marianne, and Woburn, it's only sometime last week we were talking about cricket because I taught at Mongelou, but I went to Woburn Methodist, and we used to play cricket. And we were talking about Ozzy Hall because I saw something where they was asking for something about Ozzy. And Ozzy Hall and Trevor Twist opened the batting for Mongelou in school and then went to open the batting for Grenada in cricket. And I always talk about how we used to play the cricket and thing in school. But I don't see a lot of cricket happening under the light. What I see happening under the light is a lot of football.
Small goal football.
A lot of small goal football. A lot of people playing football and a lot of people running and so on. So it's something that I think we should try to encourage. We should try to encourage in those areas, and those areas are lit.
Yes.
So we must try to encourage them to play some cricket, 10 aside, some little thing. Not only the wind ball, but we could play little things on the field in the night. So in the night, it's really football is what I see.
Something I'm an advocate for, and I'll always be an advocate for it, and I'll always speak on it, is community development. So we don't have to wait on, and I wish I had all the time in the world to be able to just initiate some of these things even within my community. We don't have to wait on an organization or government or a school even sometimes to initiate some of these things. Sometimes it can start at a community level. Where
you remember how I spoke about Uncle Gary and during that time? That Gary government really loves sports. And we used to play community sports in the community. So I played sport in Mongelou, I played in Marianne, and I played in Woburn. You see, the gentleman must know about me because he's here how he pointed. I played for Mongelou, I played for Marianne, and I coached in Marianne. I went over to Marianne and I coached in Marianne, I coached in Woburn. So I played with Helen and them in Woburn, and then I played. So I played in the South competition with Woburn and played in the Southeast competition with Norman D'Souza Jr., Uncle Gary Tam and his big Holden cars with Marianne and Mongelou. So is community sport is what I like. And I like it too because my mother, that is the only place she saw me play netball. She came over to Marion to see me play. And she went up and she said, Vida, you bungs down 3 people in netball. I said, Mommy, you know, she said, but I didn't see anybody bungs you down. So I said, well, Mommy, you know, they can't bungs me. She said, Vida, is there another way you could play this game without bouncing down? I said, okay, Mommy, I will try. So the next week, because we were playing in Marion, she came over again. I tried my best not to bounce on anybody so that my mother would not be unhappy with me. And she said, but it's a little better. And then she said, you know what? She said, the people say that that are fouling or something. She don't know what that is. But I said, you know, Mommy.
Yeah.
So when they had a big game in I think it was in 80 when we played a tournament during the PRG time in Grenada. We played a tournament there. My mother came down to see me play, but couldn't get inside. But I couldn't think she's coming. And she couldn't get inside, so she stayed. She had to go back up because it was so much people. So she couldn't get in, and she said, you know, she was able to see me play though in the community. Community sport mean a lot to me. That my father used to take us to see cricket in Marion. So we sit down and he buy 2 little sugar cake and we sit down on the tree and we watching Barrel and them play for Monjaloo with Marion and so on. But so much of this is missing these days. But community sport is key.
We have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good
I
morning.
say good morning to you and your guest, Mrs. Bruno.
Good morning.
Yeah, I know Mrs. Bruno has a wealth of experience and knowledge of the sports and a great love for the sports. But I just want to maybe answer the question or comment on the person who asked about why is maybe cricket not played in Monjalo, Marion, and Woburn.
Yes.
But I think because the fields are, most of the fields are lit. I don't think it's really lit for cricket, for the playing of cricket.
Oh. You are right, because when the ball goes up, depending on how high up it goes, probably
they won't be able to see it.
Probably.
All right. Somebody commented saying Vida bouncing down worked well when Grenada came up against the mighty Trinidadians.
That person did remember.
So they did remember. And not only does the sporting within the community build community relationships, but it also builds family relationships as well.
It does.
Because you have some parents who and children who don't get to spend much time together because of busy schedules and so on.
Yes.
They have now an opportunity to really see what their children are made of. You know, and I think it's something that we should really encourage in our communities. And it only takes a few people.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it only takes one person.
It's true.
It only takes one person with the know-how, one person with the drive to just go out there and say, okay, listen, on Sunday I'm rounding up all of your children, or on Saturday I'm rounding up all of your children, and we're going to the pasture, we're going to the playing field, we're going to the basketball court, and we're gonna be doing some tennis or some football or some, you know, it just takes
the community sports program, and especially during the time when I played netball. We played in a South competition, and the best perfume, I can't remember a better perfume than that. I got it from most outstanding player on my team. I played for Clancy Upsetters. Prime Minister Gary got these people to sponsor the different teams in the South. And this man gave me this, they gave me this perfume. The whole house, of course the house smell, the whole house smell. My mother put it in a trunk, When you open the trunk, the whole house scented. Perfume, you get big now and one. Then, what this perfume doing in the trunk? But she put it there and she said, we're not going out, they go take it out.
We have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Yeah, Miss Bruno, I must take a second because I cannot let you go without asking you this question. This question, one. We had exceptional sports persons before. If they had the opportunity available today, kind of help us, tell us what you think of them, given the fact that they would have the opportunity that are available today. I want to hear your comment on that.
Let me comment and say that if these sports people had the opportunity that is out here today, Grenada would have been on the map a long time ago. Donald Pierre, Trevor Modest, Eugene Licorice, Livingston Nelson, a whole section of these people. And people before them, I remember Sharon Checked Charles, they had people, if they only had that opportunity, if Grenada was a member of the IOC, at that time, these people would have won medals in the Olympics. Because they were such good. Rapier, Terence Rapier, the javelin thrower. We had these people, they were so good. I remember when they went to the first Carriacou. I was a little girl, but I remember when they went to the first Carriacou Games and he won the javelin. And I said, my Lord. And these people, we forget the Lamberts and Lanes and so on. But these people, we would have gotten medal before. So we would have gotten medal before. We had people laid the ground for us before, and that's why it's so important for us to remember them, because they did it. We started with them.
So in the remembering process of these people, would they have a feature in the Olympic Museum?
That's what we would like to do. That's why we've asked the various associations to come, and then we'll get a committee to decide. We'll have a local section, because the IOC maintains that you must have the international section where you have Pedro Coubertin and all these kind of things, and then we'll have a local section with our own local people that we want, and we want our children to know about them.
Right.
One of the things that they've said with the physical education program for the Caribbean region is that a lot of the children don't know enough about the Olympic movement.
Yeah.
And that's why we have made it our duty now to see if we could go out and encourage them and teach them, because they're going to have papers to write that involves that. So, yeah. So my dear sir, and I think I have to meet this gentleman one day. But so I believe that we would have had an Olympian before.
That's wonderful. I mean, some of the names he has called and that you've called, I don't know these.
No, I know. Donald Pierre was an exceptional athlete. Exceptional.
Right. So it'll be good for a lot of these people to be featured, so that our children know about the achievements of the past and not just the Karani James of today.
Yeah, and even if we're not able to put them up, we can do a video, something on them, so the children could see. They could see certain things, and we could, have the history written about it, about the relay team that came to that Carriacou Games or wherever they went and things. And then we have so many different people that did so many different things.
Even on your website, do you have, or are you looking at in future putting up a section where children can research? Because I know that you may have a little paper to write, like they said, or you may have some research to do on these people. And sometimes you go online and look at Wikipedia and they give you some information from God knows where. But it would be nice to have like a first-hand look with information that comes straight from the source, straight from the island on these people and what they've achieved.
We're building up our website now, and it's interesting that you say so, because we believe that we have to, so each various association must have a history of some of the important things that we want to put on. So even if you touch us and you say track and field, you could click on that and then see all that the track and field association has been doing and was done before. So that's what we're looking at now.
That's wonderful. So in the upcoming year, well, a couple months, not the upcoming year, but a couple months, we know that the Olympic Committee is going to be really busy, because on the 24th, is it? 24th of July. That's the beginning, the opening of Olympic.
Yes.
And that's where we have all of our people and so on. They are just waiting to see our Kirani James run, and our Lyndon Victor and Tabala and Josh. And we're just waiting to see all of our people. But like you said earlier, there is a lead up to that. There is a support that is needed. So if you had to appeal to the business community and to the people out there, I know you say you're not big on begging, or you're not good at it, so I'm giving you a forum.
I'm very good at begging. And I believe that all people want to be a part of what's going to happen in 2020. Just as I said, something was going to happen in 2012, something is going to happen in 2020, and something happened in 12, something happened in 16, something is going to happen in 20. We want some things to happen in 20,
we do.
but we need some support for it to happen. And we just want to ask you, well, nothing is too small. You can always make contribution to help the boys go to qualify, to help the boxers, to help the swimmers. We just want to make sure that support is given. And when you give, you feel so much more motivated. Would come and go, and you would be there saying, you know what, my 2 cents was part of that, I and that.
Yeah.
So I believe that there is an opportunity, and we want to invite for support. We're going to be writing to the business places, but no penny is too small. We welcome anything.
We welcome anything. That's wonderful. Somebody's saying here that, Ms. Bruno, people like you need to write a book so history can be documented.
That is true. And right as she says book, I want to commend Fitzgerald Naka Joseph. He has written 2 books, I see, and Fitzgerald Naka has been a person who has been working hard with the basketball is his sport. He has been working hard with it, and we want people to support his book. He has been writing about the people of St. John's, which has a history. The Donald Pierre that I talk about, and Sharon Charles and Rose Dina, and all of them are from the St. John's area.
Yeah.
And he has a book, and I want people to buy that book and read about the history of that area. He has been doing a remarkable job. He's still coaching. The boys are going to Guyana very soon to play basketball, and he is working with them, with the team. It's a sport that he loves. You could see that he has given his all. He's now retired, and he's able to still work along with them, and that's important. So a book is true. I'm thinking about it.
Somebody said 2 more names to add to that would be Morris Bull Williams and Ellis Maitland.
Oh, yes, Lord. How can I forget Morris Bull Williams, Ellis Maitland, and Conrad Francis? Conrad still holds the record here.
Wow.
So all what we're doing and all that we run in this 800 record is still there. So Morris Bull Williams had a record in Carriacou for many, many, many years. And Ellis Maitland, of course, Jacinta Bartholomew. That's why it's not good to call. As soon as you start calling, you're going to miss out people, and then everybody going to be upset with you that you didn't call. I'm sorry, my boys, because I called Eugene and Trevor and all of those, and really, they were outstanding athletes in their time. Outstanding athletes.
That's wonderful.
So the caller is so correct. So correct.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Of course, we've gotten a wealth of information as it relates to our sporting sector and what the Olympic Committee has in place, and policies and plans and so on that are upcoming. Of course, we hope to have you back soon again, close to Olympic time, so you can give us some more information on what's going on.
It's my pleasure. Anytime. Sport is an important pillar for the development of any country. And sometimes when you look at it, there are countries that have a lot. They have a lot financial wealth. They have all type of things. They don't perform as well as we do so sometimes even when our athletes don't win and go on the podium, the performances, they look good, they represent us well, and they're well-mannered and everything, and they don't get us into too much trouble. So we believe that this avenue for young people is important, and we must do the best to expose all of them.
Yeah.
We must not hide them, we must expose them, and we must give them an opportunity to showcase their talent. We must build, we must open up and build for them. And so it's important. I'm glad that you asked me, and anytime, once I'm in Grenada, I will come.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we are quickly out of time. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. We hope to speak again soon. Remember, budget is next Wednesday. Let's keep that in the back of our mind so that we know what is going on in our country. And as promised, we hope to have an economist here with us on Monday or on Tuesday to really discuss what the budget is about and what it entails. All right? So, guys, and whatever you do, be safe, be secure. We want to be speaking with you and not about you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
The new National Party, LNP, St. Andrew Southwest Youth Arm. The new National Party, LNP, St. Andrew Southwest Youth Arm. Gala. It's 90s themed cocktail and gala. It's 90s style. That's right, we're going back in time. Back in time. Saturday, November 30th, 2019. Going down at the Twilight Nightclub, Grenville. Cocktail starts from 7 p.m. until you say when.
Watch it. And you can pick up.
Tickets cost only $15. Finger foods included. With music by Grenada's top DJs. Alongside live performances. Lots of dope prizes for the best dressed male, best dressed female, best dressed couple, and many more. The NNP St. Andrews Southwest Youth Arm. 90s style cocktail and gala. Saturday, November 30th.
Government and GUT reach agreement on salary increases for teachers. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Wednesday, November 13th, I am Rakisha St. Louis. The Government of Grenada and the Grenada Union of Teachers, GUT, have reached agreement on salary increases for the nation's teachers. The collective labor agreement, which covers the period 2020 to 2022, was signed on Wednesday, November 13th by representatives of government's negotiating team and the GUT. It provides for salary increases of 4% for 2020, 4% for 2021, and 4% for 2022 for teachers, which, when compounded, amounts to approximately 12.5%. The agreement was reached after intense but cordial discussions. Both parties have expressed satisfaction that the negotiations were conducted amicably. Head of the government negotiating team, Honorable Oliver Joseph, said, and I quote, "The agreement reached with the GUT illustrates government's willingness to negotiate in good faith," unquote.
From January 2020, 4%, 2021, 4%, 2022, 4%. This agreement was arrived at after 4 rounds of negotiation, which went very cordial, very frank discussion, and at an enormous cost to the state for its employees, which will require sacrifice, continued sacrifice for, in other sectors in order to meet this obligation, but in the interest of all workers. And I want to thank the GUT for their commitment and their approach, the goodwill demonstrated. I think it's because of this goodwill in the negotiation, there were movement on both sides. And that's how you get a settlement in a negotiation.
The GUT's negotiating team also welcomed the settlement, saying it was fair and reasonable in the current economic circumstances.
We believe that in everything, members would feel that we could have gotten a little more. However, given the way the discussions went and the economic indicators presented, we thought that in the best interest of our members, we can have that settlement. We are comfortable with what we have arrived at, bearing in mind that there are other areas that we are intending to work towards. We also believe that we need to pay attention to the upcoming budget to see what measures are within the budget that we can monitor as a union and bring some understanding and probably explanation to our members as to how it would affect them.
That was GUT President General Lydon Lewis. The government negotiating team revealed that the cost of salary increases amounts to $43.5 million over the 3-year period. In addition to the financial implications of the settlement with the GUT, the negotiating team noted that government will see a significant increase in personnel-related costs with effect from January 2020. as the state is expected to pay an additional 1% to the NIS on behalf of each worker. This effectively amounts to a 5% increase for 2020. Further to this, all retired members of the GUT will have their pension increased by 4% from January 1st, 2020. This agreement with the GUT comes at an enormous cost to the taxpayers of the country. In fact, to reach agreement while also satisfying the primary expenditure rule, which has been yielding tremendous results for the country, government had to make significant cuts to various service sectors to fund the salary increases. Both parties, Minister Joseph says, worked hard to arrive at a percentage figure that is workable, taking into consideration the fiscal space that puts a cap on government's spending power.
From the government point of view, we are very pleased. We are satisfied with the outcome that we have arrived at, to the point where we can sign off today and have predictable salary increases for the next 3 years. There are other areas that we will continue to engage the GUT in as we move forward after today. But I just want to say that we are pleased with the outcome of these negotiations.
In looking ahead at the next negotiating cycle, the negotiating team emphasized that urgent attention must be paid to increasing productivity in the public service in the face of rising citizens' demands. Continuing with the news, government remains committed to its road repair program and continues to explore its options in asphalt usage. On Wednesday, WADA Material Specialists Limited, a Trinidad-based cold mix premium asphalt company, provided Grenada with a sample of its pothole patching product. The cold mix, made of blue limestone aggregates, can be stored for up to 18 months and can be applied to wet or dry areas. Works and Infrastructure Development Minister Honorable Gregory Bowen was present for the on-site demonstration of the cold mix application in True Blue St. George. The minister is confident that once over time the asphalt proves to be durable, Grenada can partner with the company to improve its road infrastructure. He compared the durability of the asphalt currently being used in Grenada to what is being offered.
In Grenada, we use our hard stone granites, but they use a much softer material in there. Their product has its advantages in the sense that it stays together more than the hard aggregates coated with the asphalt. As soon as water gets it, it deteriorates by separating the asphalt from the aggregate. But in this particular case, they're using a much softer material, and we're trying it to see if it will work better for us. You could lay it quicker. Sometimes you don't have to do a lot of regulation of the holes at cutting the edges, and so it blends beautifully into the existing asphalt. And we have 2 demonstration patches, one here and one in another area. And then we could make the decision by cost, how long it will last. It get beaten, so maybe in the next 2 years we could be looking at this and see whether it can work. But we definitely will be continuing with our cold mix for the time being. And if this is economically better, then we could work with a blend of both, and perhaps over the years just continue to take from one source.
Director of WADA Dave Pear highlighted some of the benefits in store for Grenada once an agreement is reached.
The shelf life of the product is 18 months, so that it means therefore that there is a significant amount of storage ability for it. What can happen in such a case is that in the far-flung areas of Grenada, you can take some of this product, carry it to the area, store it, and use it as needed for the scheduled work programs where road repair is concerned immediately. In other words, what we're seeing that is being done here, once this is laid and compacted, the road can be open, and that is a significant difference where this cold mix is concerned. Once it is compacted, it could be opened immediately to vehicular traffic.
This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Did you join the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985, and have since retired? This might be important to you. Government understands that the NIS pension may be insufficient to take care of your needs. So, while it awaits the court's ruling on the matter of pension for public officers, government has taken action to protect your quality of life so that you can take care of your needs in the meantime. Persons who joined the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985, and serve continuously in an established position for a minimum 26 years and 8 months, and retired at age 60, may be eligible to receive an advance payment, which when combined with NIS, represents 70% of their last salary. For more information, call or visit the Pension Secretariat in the Department of Public Administration, Ministerial Complex, 440-3767.
Welcome back. Grenada's Rehabilitation of Offenders Board has approved 90 applications from June 2018 to present for persons wishing to have their criminal records cleared. 115 applications have been received. The Rehabilitation of Offenders Bill 2017 seeks to redress certain impediments which are experienced by offenders, especially those who committed criminal offenses as juveniles. These offenders later discover that their criminal records significantly impede their ability to secure certain employment opportunities, to obtain certain visas in order to travel abroad, either to reside or access educational opportunities. Section 1 of the Act identifies that persons who are convicted for the serious crimes like murder, manslaughter, are not eligible. Norman Gilbert, member of the board, says of the 115 applicants, 9 are female and 106 are males.
We have also in cases where persons may have had offenses where they were charged, and we have not received the sufficient evidence to support that the charges or the fines have been paid. And so we also would have to reject those applications because we expect that those persons will obviously have to meet that requirement before making the submission. So we have approved some 90 applicants within the period of those 115 that I would have mentioned. And out of those applicants that has been approved, we have a very great disparity in male-female ratio, I must say. In fact, of all the applicants received by the board, we have just 9 applicants that are female applicants in terms of making use of the facility, and 106 males.
He spoke of the criteria that must be met in order to obtain approval for expungement.
We also would give consideration to the application based on the requirements of the regulations. And based on the requirements of the regulations, not all applications are going to be approved. Of course, they must meet certain criteria. And so out of that total I mentioned of 115 applicants, we have had denied 16 applicants. And of course, the applicants who have been denied, there are reasons for denying the applications, and of course, those reasons must be in accordance with what the regulation says should be done.
That story just ended the national report for today, Wednesday, November 13th. Let's recap the top story. Government and GUT reach agreement on salary increases for teachers. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
The new national party, LNP St. Andrews Southwest Youth Arm, presents its annual themed cocktail and gala. It's 90s style. That's right, we're going back in time. Saturday, November 30th, 2019. Going down at the Twilight Nightclub, Grenville. Cocktail starts from 7 p.m. until you say when. Tickets cost only $15. Finger foods included. With music by Grenada's top DJs alongside live performances. Lots of dope prizes for the best dressed male, best dressed female, best dressed couple, and many more. The NNP St. Andrews Southwest Youth Arm 90s style cocktail and gala. Saturday, November 30th.
If you want to stay married, divorce speed. Never drink and drive. After whiskey, driving is risky. A message from the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new National Party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.